Before we get started, if you like what you see today and want more content from Phyrexian Pit, please hit that like and subscribe button, and be sure to smash that bell to stay in touch with all the videos that we put out. Hello everyone, this is TJ here with Phyrexian Pit, and we're coming at you with some more matches in the Gauntlet of Jank today. I'm joined by Charlie, as always. Charlie, how are you?
As always, I'm doing pretty good. Hope you're doing the same.
Oh yeah, everything is awesome. So today in this videos we got Planeswalker Wave combo versus Captive Rakdos, and I will be piloting the Planeswalker Wave combo. So the Planeswalker Wave combo, it's a combo deck where you're looking to win the game ultimately with Kamal's Druidic Vow. And as such, we want to ramp it out as quickly as possible, so we have quite a few ways to do that. Early on, we have both Growth Spiral and Grow from the Ashes, which helps us get some mana out quickly. We also have Nissa, who shakes the world, who's a Planeswalker who doubles up all of our forests and allows them to tap for 2 mana. So we're trying to keep the board clear and build up that mana to get to Kamal's Druidic Vow. If we hit a Tamiyo and enough lands off of the Druidic Vow, then we can continue to combo and keep it going. We have a Bontu in our deck as well. When it comes into play, we can sack any number of permanents and draw that many cards. So what this tries to do then is get our Jace into play and get down our Bontu as well, sack our entire board, and draw out our whole deck with Jace, Wielder of Mysteries in play. We get to actually win the game on the spot if that happens. So that's pretty much my deck. Do you want to give them a rundown of the deck you'll be running today?
Yeah, so I'm doing the Captive Rakdos deck, which is really just a control deck based around Captive Audience, which is, it comes down, it's a 7-cost enchantment in Rakdos colors, of course, that comes down on your end of the field as my opponent, and then you have to make decisions on your upkeep. You get 3 choices. Your life total either becomes 4, you ditch your hand, or you give me 5 zombies. 2/2 zombies, I should specify. So really what we're just trying to do is ramp into that. So we've got Karn as our kind of planeswalker slash draw engine, plus with all the different mana and kind of mana rock ramp stuff we're running, his -2 can actually be pretty good if we just kind of want to rush the game along, or if you've got a couple of planeswalkers and nothing to block with, we could potentially get in and do some damage that way. Speaking of those artifacts, we're using mainly Treasure Map, Chroma Lantern, Gilded Lotus, and a couple of Azor's Gateways just to kind of get us drawing cards, get us to that 7 mana to cast the Captive Audience. And then every other spell is just removal. Banefire is great because we can use it either as removal, or we can hold it for when you Captive Audience your life down to 4, and then we can cast it for 5, and it's for 6 mana total, and then it's an uncounterable, unpreventable damage for the win. And yeah, Bedevil will be probably our big other removal piece, as well as Star of Extinction, because you're super friends. So being able to destroy one of your lands and blast every one of your planeswalkers for 20, I feel like will be pretty good. So we'll see.
Yeah, this matchup, it lines up pretty well. These two decks,
Mm-hmm.
Captive Audience is really set up in a good place, I think, to try and deny what Kamal's Druidic Vow does. But that being said, Kamal's Druidic Vow is still a very powerful deck and can combo off out of pretty much nowhere in a hurry. So.
Yep, you just got to get the pieces.
All right, well, I will go ahead and send you a match, and I will check in with you after it's all said and done. We'll see how it goes.
All right, best of luck, my friend.
Yep, you too. All right, so game 1 here between Kamal's Druidic Vow and Captive Audience, and we won the die roll, so we will go ahead and go first. Our hand has some lands. It doesn't really have a ton of things to do early on in the game. Unfortunately, pre-board, we don't have a lot of good things to do early on, but I think that we have to mulligan this just because we're not doing anything at all. This hand's a little bit better. We'll go ahead and keep it. We do have a Growth Spiral to ramp us out quickly. And we'll put our Bontu to the bottom here. We got 2 more in the deck that we can eventually draw into, no big deal. And we'll start on a tap land and ship it over to Charlie to see what he's going to put down for us. So swamp and pass the turn back to us. We'll go ahead and play our Overgrown Tomb untapped. We want to be able to Growth Spiral at the end of his turn. So we'll go ahead and ship the turn back over to him and see what kind of damage he does. Now, hopefully we will draw land, so we do get to play our Tamiyo next turn, because the quicker we get that into play, the sooner we are setting up our combo. So go ahead and Growth Spiral, play our Breeding Pool. Unfortunately, we did not hit our 4th land here, so a little behind, but we'll ship the turn back to him. Hopefully, he doesn't have the ability to hurt us too much for missing this land drop, and maybe we'll start picking back up next turn. Chromatic Lantern, so it looks like he's going to be able to start treasure mapping on the end of our turns, and maybe even also during his upkeep if he so chooses. Again, we didn't hit a land here, so we'll go ahead and ship the turn back to him, which is a little bit unfortunate, but the variance is a big reason of why we play Magic in the first place. So he goes ahead and scries that card to the bottom with his treasure map. Now, he does have the mantle for Bedevil, so if we ever do get a Planeswalker down, he might be able to just kill it on the spot, unfortunately. Gonna play a tap land and ship the turn back to us. Okay, we got a Growth Spiral here. No real reason to play it now. There's nothing that we can draw that would be for 1 mana that we could follow it up with. So we'll just go ahead and pass the turn back to him. Treasure maps, and he's going to put that card to the bottom. So good news for us, he's scred twice to the bottom now. Upkeep, going to scry with the treasure map again. This time he does get to flip it and make his treasures. So we could get Captively Rakdos this turn, or Captivating Audience this turn. Hopefully he doesn't have it. But he does. It is the namesake of the deck after all. So we'll go ahead and Growth Spiral here at the end of his turn. Put our Forest into play. We're actually going to go ahead and give him the zombies here, because if they get in for 10 damage or so, it really doesn't affect us, since we're going to have to go down to 4 anyway. So I think here what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play our Breeding Pool untapped, and we're going to slam our Nissa. It doubles up all of our mana. We have nothing but forests in play, so I think it's the most likely thing that could potentially keep us alive for 1 more turn, if we get a chance to stay alive for 1 more turn. Now he can, I guess, kill the Nissa, or he might go at our face too. I think the correct play is to kill the Nissa, but we do get a blocker. We get to eat one of his zombies. Draws a card with Treasure Cove, Swamp, into a Lotus here. Alright, everything is going at Nissa. We'll go ahead and eat one of the zombies. Alright, now we could choose to discard our hand and cast this Vraska's Contempt. So yeah, I think we have to discard our hand here, and then in response to this going onto the stack, we'll go ahead and Vraska's Contempt a zombie, and hopefully we'll draw a couple cards that will help us out moving forward. Maybe like a Bantu or something like that. So we'll go ahead and... Oh, we don't even have the ability to Vraska's Contempt here. So we just lose our hand. Go ahead and get in for 3. Yeah, unfortunately, this game is pretty rough pre-board. We didn't draw any of the quote-unquote bad cards for this matchup, and he still got there. Mostly we didn't hit any lands, which is the reason that we lost. But we have a lot of creature removal in this deck, and his deck doesn't run any creatures. The only time he gets creatures is when he gets zombies. So I guess he also has the Karnstructs too, but those aren't particularly great. So we get to actually bring in about 8 cards from the sideboard. We are still in this game as of right now. We're fighting the good fight. See if he chooses to get in. Chooses not to, which I believe is the correct decision. We drop down to 4. Yep, and he's got us here. So go ahead and concede and move on to game 2. Alright, going into game number 2, we're going to remove all of our creature removal since he's not running any creatures. We're going to trim a Bantu, Liliana's Death Horde, and Grow from the Ashes. And that'll allow us to bring in Thought Erasures, good for picking apart of his hand, as well as the Duress. Spyglass hits a couple different things, and of course we have Thrashing Brontodon to hit some of his ramp pieces, because if he can't get to 7 mana, he can't really beat us. And we also need to cut this Bioessence Hydra as well. Just trimming a couple things. Alright, game 2, we are again on the play. We'll go ahead and choose to go first. We'll keep this hand. Actually, Bontu is pretty good if he does get a captive audience down. If we have one in our hand, we can actually sacrifice it to the Bontu. So we'll go ahead and play our tap land here and ship the turn back to him and see what kind of damage he can do to us turn 1. Alright, plays a mountain, passes the turn back to us. We will go ahead and play our Hinterland Harbor and ship the turn to him. We do have this Jace we can eventually get to. We have the blue mana to get it down now that we drew that Drowned Catacomb. Plays Treasure Map, so he's going to start looting, or scrying rather, relatively early on. Again, we'll see if he chooses to do it on his upkeep or not. Growth Spiral would have been good about a turn ago. Would have meant that we got to play Jace this turn. Not the end of the world, getting it a little bit late, but would have been nice one turn sooner. Alright, gonna play Swamp here. Ship the turn back to us. We should have played that Growth Spiral there. That was a punt on our part. Should be okay though. We'll go ahead and play this Jace. And starting next turn, we can start popping off these Growth Spirals like they're going out of style. Vraska's Contempt is an unfortunate one to mill, especially if he plays a Karn. It is a good answer for his Karn, because he doesn't really have a ton of ways to draw cards. So he kind of relies on filtering. Eventually this will turn into card draw, but the Karn is a good way for him to just continuously stay in the game. Field of Ruin here. Gonna go ahead and scry with his treasure map. Scries to the top. Plays another treasure map, and it looks like he is going to pass back to us. Okay, so we'll go ahead and tick up our Jace here, milling ourselves. We will play a Woodland Cemetery, and we'll go ahead and ship the turn back to him with the plan to fire off both these Growth Spirals at the end of his turn. Looks like he's going to go ahead and treasure map here and flip his land, get his treasure tokens. We might be getting captive audienced here. Alright, he's going to go ahead and run out a Gilded Lotus. It did cost him quite a bit of card draw in order to do that with his Treasure Cove here, but he does have another one to continue to draw cards. We'll go ahead and not miss the Growth Spiral this time around. And we'll fire off the second one. Ooh, and we hit. Good. So going back to us. As tempting as it is to fire off one of these Druidic Vows now, I think it's probably better to grow from the ashes and then do it next turn. We'll see what we draw here with Jace, though. We did draw Tameo, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and cast our Grow from the Ashes with Kicker, and this will get us 2 untapped lands, which will allow us to then Tameo. We'll go ahead and get 2 forests here because we're actually getting to the point where we're looking to close out the game. If we get a Nissa, we pretty much have it guaranteed almost. We're going to +1 looking for that Nissa and see if we get it here. Unfortunately, we did not. We'll go ahead and play our Watery Grave tapped and then ship the turn over to our opponent. He's going to treasure map at the end of our turn here. Alright, looks like he's going to treasure map on his upkeep as well. Get some more treasure tokens. Looks like he's going to play his captive audience on us, which is fine. What we're probably going to do here is we're probably just going to give him a ton of zombies, and hopefully we just get to combo off and win on our turn. Give him the zombies here. Ooh, excellent. Drew a Nissa who shakes the world. So we'll go ahead and play her, and what's really nice is that we get to play her without tapping any of our lands here, or any of our forests, I should say. So we can go ahead and tick up on our Jace here. I'm actually going to tick down our Tamiyo to get back a Kamal's Druidic Vow, because it would be nice to continue to go off once we get there. So we'll go ahead and tap down. Nissa will let us untap one of our lands here. And then we'll go ahead and shoot off a massive Kamal's Druidic Vow for 9. We hit quite a few things here. Unfortunately, we didn't hit a ton of land. We will pay 2 life because we will be going down to 4. Now, we could God Eternal Bantu here. So we have 6 mana. Yeah, so I think that we definitely want a Bantu here. So we'll go ahead and tick up on our Overgrown Tomb. Unfortunately, we do have to tap it down in order to get to where we can actually cast the Bantu. Yeah, unfortunately, we can only draw 17 or 18 cards, sacking the God Eternal to himself. Oh. Whoops, I accidentally just clicked right through that. That shouldn't hopefully come back to bite us. We can just go down to 4 on our upkeep. He can kill our Nissa at this point, but I'm not sure that it matters. He's choosing to go at our face. We'll go ahead and say okay. We'll see if he has a Star of Extinction. See if that punt cost us the game. And a good game. Good game, sir.
GG. Yeah, I felt way more comfortable with that deck. I like that deck actually. It's you weren't kidding. It's very good. The fact that I was able to kill you with that Banefire in the end too. I had that Banefire in my hand the whole game, but once I saw the you gave me the zombies, I'm like, well, I can just win then, assuming that he doesn't, super block. And yeah.
Yeah, so that last game I double punted.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I missed a growth spiral at the end of one of your turns early on in the game that would have put me 1 turn sooner. And then on top of that, if I would have ticked up the Tamiyo before I would have cast the Bantu, I could have comboed and won, but I forgot to do that.
What I was going to do, if you ticked up on the Tamiyo, is as you did that, I was just going to bedevil your Jace, and then it would have just been over. Because it's like, oh.
I don't think you had mana for that. I think you had
I
one
had the
mana.
Treasures.
You had the... Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. I just didn't want to sack him. That was why I held it up. Is I'm like, I don't want to use. I'd prefer to draw cards, but if you're gonna just win, I'm gonna not let you do that. And that was why I was curious too. I was like, because I counted your permanents, and I'm like, no, he's 1 off of. Yeah, it was. Whew.
Yeah,
but
well, I'm glad to know that the punt didn't come back to bite us. So
no.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to know that even if we played it optimally, you still would have gotten us. Although, like I said, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next round. I think that the Captive Rakdos really lines up well.
Yes, I agree.
With Kamal's Druidic Vow, so we'll see how it does when. And I won't spoil who wins the other one, just in case they're watching it out of order. But we'll see how it does when
we'll see how it does.
It plays the winner of the other matchup. So
let's see if we can get together for more of these and. See how these other matchups end up being.
Totally. Until next week.